Hey, the transition worked without any problems. Huzzah! Okay, let me just double check one other thing here. Let's make sure this is still working. No, it doesn't. Interesting. Well, this is why we got rid of the sound alerts. That's unfortunate. Guess that means I'm gonna have to make some sort of animation for that. Maybe that could be tonight's animation. No, that's not gonna work. We're gonna start off with refining this animation. Spend many weeks in the making. We're gonna refine it a little bit before we send it in for renderings. The animation we did last night, that I was doing last night. I'm sorry, I keep saying we. All right. So I was working on this animation last night, and it came in decent. But I want to send it back for more renders because the motion blur isn't there. And I think I want to have one or two more lights added in. Just because it feels a little too dark. Now, granted, the final actually looks pretty decent when you get all the lights added in. But I'm going to send this in for more renders tonight. All right, so let me get this set up. I'm going to do something I don't normally do. Put myself in here. And I think we are all set. Let me refresh the Rumble side before we go anywhere. This one loves to act up. Now, I have a bit of a rant tonight. Some people are probably not going to like it. But fortunately, we don't have a whole lot of people that are going to probably be showing up for the animation streams. So I think I will be in the clear to have my rant. All right, all good to go. All right, so for starters, we're going to be fixing this element right here, which is the grass. Now the grass, I've been wanting to correct for a while on this here, and I realized I don't need grass. It was pine needles that I need. Now, let me see if I got the texture for that. Stand by just a second. I forgot to do something here. So I'm doing something I've never done before. Let me double check this. Where is this? Pine tree. Pine tree, pine tree. That looks good. Oh my goodness. Well, that's unfortunate. Why does everything have to be so dang expensive? It's everything. Everything is like everyone was given a signal simultaneously to say, let's increase the price for everybody. Hey, hey, hey. It's like, sure, does your company need finances to operate? Wonderful. We need finances so we don't get thrown out of our homes and apartments and whatnot. So yeah, sure. Tell me how your company needs to have an increase to the prices when I don't get the same increase to wages that is proportional to all the increase in prices. I've been cutting back a lot, and I don't even have a whole lot of purchases that the average person has. I am incredibly cheap when it comes to that. I don't go out and get a whole lot of I don't pay for travel. I don't spend a whole lot of time on expensive hobbies. My hobby is my second job, so to speak. So I don't understand how come all these companies think that somehow we are loaded and able to afford stuff, especially when we are in a hobby field, so to speak. And of course, they are doing their best to eliminate a lot of the freer options that used to reside out there. Dagnabbit. So what is my big problem here? My problem is this. There used to be a cheaper option. There used to be a free option. That no longer exists. How in tarnation? And it's not pay as you go, it's subscription. Subscription based. What, do you lose your points when you make your purchase? And they make it so that you can't even get the higher quality stuff unless you go with the expensive pro option, which I can't afford. Even though I need like 1 or 2 items from there. Man, this is frustrating. So, expensive options don't work. Could I build it? Could I do it from scratch? Make it out of 3D. That would take a long time. And it's winter, so I can't go out and photograph this stuff. I was a big supporter of this group as well, only for them to lock out the free option. See, I was willing to go out and purchase the higher resolution stuff because I'm like, this is doable. But not when it's this expensive. Hey, as you go, get rid of this stupid subscription stuff. Oh, that's what they did. They turned their free stuff that is out there really, really low. So they have very, 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 very few options now. Man. How? One of the most common plants in the world, pine, is behind a paywall. But you can get a cactus, no problem. You can get wooden floors. You can get organs. You can get fabric. But you can't get things that are nature-based. All right, let's try this instead. Okay, this might actually work. Where is the Blendkit add-on? Am I looking at this? Manage UI translation, that's not it. I mean, it was installed recently. Well, try it again. It's still 1 minute away. You know, this kind of reminds me of one of the things I've been very frustrated about as of late. Companies that decide that they no longer want to provide a service and instead want to try and take advantage of people's goodwill. I've noticed a lot of people, let's see here, let's get a shader. People, oh, here we go. Okay, that will work. Whew. Very nice. Take that, textures.com. Try and gouge out the little man, huh? Well then, I'll go with someone else. Someone who's been reliable. So, if you have a company, let's say that you make chairs for a living. I'm thinking about that because I still need to get myself a new chair. You make chairs for a living. You're pretty good at it. In fact, you become the best in the industry. No one can match you. And you think, wow, I'm kind of on top of the world. What is your first thought with your power and your prestige? What is your goal? Is your goal to say, gee, I have all this power, all this importance, I have transformed the world of chair making. Now it's time to cash out. Do you say that? Probably not. It takes a certain type of person to think in that way. But I dare say I have seen people like that before, who are very quick to condemn other people and make them seem as if they're somehow a villain because they want to take advantage of somebody. And they don't like the idea of you holding power over them as the customer. They want to take everything. They want to be on top of the world. If there's a displacement, perfect. Turn this into a bump map instead. No, never mind. That's not going to work. Let's increase the resolution, see what happens. Greetings there, rolling chairs. How you doing? So if you have that company, you might want to increase your revenue. But what some companies are doing is so cold. They're like, yeah, I want to increase revenue by not supplying the very service that we've been advertising this whole time. And I gotta wonder, how long until companies like that start to fall apart? How long until they start to think, you know what? People are not so enthralled by our behavior. We might want to, start considering the reality that we need to think about someone else's well-being other than our company. I've heard so many people say, for the company's sake, we need to do X, Y, or Z. We need to make money. And the whole time, they're intentionally trying to avoid providing the very service that they were in business for. It seems to be like a life cycle. The bigger you get, the more inclined you are not to want to fulfill your part of a basically user agreement or a service or whatnot. Whenever they say, hey, whenever they say that we have the right to deny service if you violate this or this, who's there to tell companies you need to pay up for violating your terms of service for your customer? I mean, lawyers spent all their time trying to make sure that you don't have that ability. Okay, I need to pause for a moment. This thing is not wanting to cooperate. Did it just crash? Phooey. Hide that for a moment, and now increase this to 5. That should work. Why does it never want to smooth out? I've never figured that part out. Alright, so let's try this instead. Apply. Subdivide. All right, that might have actually done it. So there was a company that I was a big user of, early on at least. They were trying to bring 3D effects into After Effects. Now, In retrospect, it was a garbage company. Never should have existed. It was borderline corrupt how they went about their business policy, and they went by using the good name of a motion graphic artist who was advertising to the world, hey, you too can do amazing effects just like me, and you can get hired by Hollywood, and all this nonsense that didn't actually happen. There we go. That looks way better. So he wanted people to buy into his software. Digital Copilot. I spent hundreds of dollars with them. And after I spent hundreds of dollars on a special piece of software, the software was promptly axed. No follow through, no ability to try and get your money back. It was gone. And you know what's really sad and criminal? What I say is criminal. The company still exists. And they still are trying to get people to use their software because After Effects refuses to have good 3D integration into their software. And now there are multiple ways of doing it. And nobody can really make a good decision in relation to it. There's a lot of problems with it. And you get a company like you get a product like Blender. Why is it doing that? What the? It's still there. So you'll get a program like Blender that, despite not making a whole lot of money, has routine customer service. Then you get a company that gets paid thousands of dollars for a very pitiful product, and they can't keep it going. Then when they have people call them out, they just run and hide and say, oh, we're going back into the industry. Ho, sucks for you all. We have to go work on the new Star Wars. By the way, that's what he did. He went to go work on the new Star Wars. He took his skills with him, and he killed After Effects in doing so. I never used After Effects the same way again. And I liked the software. Yeah, it was a good software. So what do you do if you have a company where you're not able to really make a good wage, and every time you seem to get the company to try and plow forward, it routinely keeps causing problems for you, and it doesn't ever really get fixed. It gets more and more broken as time goes on, and the people that used to be your biggest supporters suddenly no longer are putting their money towards your company. What is your strategy to try and fix that? Because I can definitely tell you what a lot of companies will do. They will turn on their customer base and say, you know what? The customer is wrong. The customer has wronged us. We deserve to pull out because the customer is the big, bad customer. Disney did that. They were certain that the customer was always wrong. Now, I do believe the customer is never always right. It can never be in that category of always right, like a lot of people want us to believe. But neither is the company always right. We are human. We all make mistakes. And last I checked, a company, regardless of their how they protect themselves with policy, they're going to make mistakes, and they're going to overstep their bounds. When they do overstep their bounds, they need to be able to look themselves in the mirror and say, we've gone too far, we've gotten too greedy, time to backtrack. Good luck trying to get them to think that, though. All right, that looks good. Don't have to worry about the far side. Just had to worry about this over here. That's not bad looking. Not great, but not bad looking. If you're a business owner, do you have any love for your customer? And if you don't, why not? Now, there's a couple of businessmen that I know that are really kind, thoughtful folk. There's a guy that I know. He's he's the owner of a small local shop, and I don't think I've ever seen him in a bad mood. And you know what? His business thrives as a result. Oh, darn it, I haven't been keying this. Not bad. I don't think I've ever seen him upset. And as a result, this company keeps doing well. It's one of the most successful ones in the area, you could say. And by maintaining a culture of kindness to the customers, he has an incredible amount of loyalty. And no other business, either from outside the state or inside the state, can offer him competition. Now, the moment that he does try and compete and starts thinking that he's going to maybe start being rude to people, no one's going to put up with it. They're going to turn on him in a moment, and they will go to a bigger company. They won't go to another small town company. They'll go to a bigger one. And so everyone hurts for that. Because people think, well, if this is how a local guy is going to behave, let's just go to the one that's corporate, because that way we can be able to, get upset at the company if something goes wrong. Not necessarily the best way to go forward and deal with problems, but that's what I've personally seen with stuff like that. And you really need to cut one of those footsteps out. All right, let's save this, because we're going to make a big change here. Key from 66 to 90. Is this? Oh yeah. Motion pass. Here we go. Add. Calculate. Okay, yeah, we got way too much right there. Do you remember when, well, I don't know how many people may remember this now. I remember as a kid hearing this idea of American ingenuity and skill, in hearing that Americans in the past would work themselves to the bone to try and achieve something. And then we hit the 70s and people start realizing, dang, we are way far ahead of everyone else. We don't need to work so much. 80s was even worse. 90s, it took hold of a lot of people. Despite how nice the 90s were, ethically it was a downfall of culture and society. But I remember growing up thinking that obviously we don't need to work so hard. I no longer think that, because what I didn't realize is that the Bible is right, that poverty can sneak up upon us. Actually, let me pull up this quote, because this is actually very interesting. So here's something to think about, and this is deeply concerning. I went past the field of a sluggard, past the vineyard of someone who has no sense. Thorns had come up everywhere. The ground was covered with weeds, and the stone wall was in ruins. I applied my heart to what I observed, and learned a lesson from what I saw. A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest, and poverty will come upon you like a thief, and scarcity like an armed man. I think I'm going to be sharing that on my socials tonight. I remember hearing about that and thinking, oh, well, that's not really going to happen. Not for us. Well, I never actually thought that it wouldn't happen. I was thinking, no, it's probably not likely, because I knew that a lot of people were hardworking and that we weren't really, at risk of that taking place in our country. The last few years, the last 10, 12 years, has changed my outlook on that. I think that we are in dire straits when it comes to finances. And so when I see companies trying to increase prices, I understand why they're doing it, but I don't think that's the solution. I think that the millionaires have spent so much time building up an empire for themselves, and it's not a secure empire. And why do I pick on millionaires? Because they are the definition of sluggards in many ways. And they're also the definition of corruption. Now, I don't believe in the same way that maybe somebody who is a revolutionary would think of that. They would think, oh, well, obviously, person's corrupt, and they will take away the wrong lesson of that. They'll say, obviously, they need to pull their share so I can be the sluggard. No, that's not good. That's just as destructive. You're just changing who the sluggard is. But how many of us know people that are sluggards? How many of us are the sluggard? I'm very active with my projects. I would not say that I am a sluggard, nor would I say I'm a super hardworking fella. I'm somewhere in between. I work more on some things, but I also don't work as much as I should on others. Elon Musk and Vivek recently have said some things that have got me very upset, very riled up, because I think that they have values that are good in many ways, but I think they're incredibly misplaced in others. Well, recently they've come out to say about how messed up basically the American people are. Now, if it was just about laziness, I could completely agree. We are way too lazy of a people. The fact that we have so many people that will sit on a couch watching television constantly, that number of people is huge. Watching a sports game is very, very destructive. I've seen more sports fans that are paupers than those who are, well, and their wages aren't much better than someone else's. It's not much worse, but they spend it all. Same thing for people that are massive gamers. Same thing for people that are into huge collectibles. Anything. has the ability to sap your resources. So I don't think that their accusation about Americans being lazy is inaccurate. But the thing that got me today, last 2 days actually, is this idea that somehow there's no other factors. And there are many factors into why things are the way that they are. Now, a lot of people have been arguing about this online, and I'm glad there's a lot of people talking about it, because I think that we have let this go too long without actually addressing things. Well, I've seen many people who have tried. They work hard, they fight, they try and work their fingers to the bone to find success. And you know what they find? Splinters under their nails. And not much to show for it. I think there's more factors than just people being lazy. I think that the problem is also cultural. Are we encouraging hard work? No. We are encouraging slothfulness. Our nation is as much to blame as the commoner. The fact that we will take millions of dollars and send it overseas is shameful. We're taking the work that people have done and nullifying all that labor. So Vivek and Elon are correct that we are lazy people. But we're more wasteful than anything else. We have a lot of hard workers in this country. And no, they're not all immigrants like they want us to believe. What they are, though, is people that don't really get recognized in the same way. They don't get seen as heroes of our culture. They get seen as the problem. Oh, you're a so-and-so. That means you don't get a tax break. But this person over here, just because of their background, they do get a tax break. Oh, sucks to be you. When you do that, you sap out motivation. You know why communism doesn't work? It's not that people can't be charitable. It's that people, when they have the option to do nothing, they will. And communism has to force its people to work, and when they overwork, they have to fear retaliation from those that do work and someone else takes their job. You have that side too. It's a really weird dynamic. You have the people that are sluggards, and you have those that work in a little and they don't like it when somebody takes their position. So, if you have a nation that is encouraging people to be either sluggards or stingy and selfish, or greedy and wasteful, you have a perfect storm of problems. It's not one or the other. All the factors are the problem. You want to solve the problem? Again, like we've said before, start with a person in the mirror first. You are the person that you can change. You can't change someone else. And you can try to change someone else, but it's not actually going to work. So you want to kick the economy into high gear? Wonderful. Sensational. I hope it works. But you got to give people motivation. And one of the biggest bits of motivation that we are overlooking is something that nobody is willing to talk about. And you know what? It's even hard to say it on any of these platforms because so many people don't believe it. There has to be a reward for labor. There has to be a reward for you did a good job, you pulled through, you did extra. You need that motivation. And what happens if your motivation is entertainment? Is that motivation? No. No, it's not. If anything, it is a vice. You know, back in the day, I remember hearing about these older folks that would say their reward was their family. We don't have that anymore. That's the problem. We're so self-consumed that we are unwilling to acknowledge the fact that we have taken away one of the biggest forms of motivation in human history, the family. Oh, that's ridiculous. You can't say that. That's not politically correct. Uh-huh. What's our culture look like right now? The fact that you can have an entire generation of people that is emotionally destroyed, and we don't acknowledge the fact that right now people are lonelier than ever, that's foolishness. It is definitely a factor, even if people don't want it to be. It is a factor, and yet we don't know how to fix it, because to fix it would be culturally a taboo. I was talking with a fella up here in Alaska, and he was trying to navigate his life. And you know what? He is not shaping out very well. And I don't mean that to be harsh to the fella. It's that he's being set up for failure. He doesn't have the motivation to move forward. Every time he tries to do something, it is either taken from him or he's given peanuts when what he needs is something of value. One of the biggest things that have driven men to excel is kids. The second thing is a wife. If you don't have either, what does that do to you as a man? It saps you of hope and encouragement. I'm speaking from my own experience, and also from what I can observe in the lives of those that I've encountered. This is real, and I don't know why we still think that we can't raise this point. The fact that we have a war of the sexes still, and that there's bitterness still about the roles that we play in our lives, is proof enough to me that we are not going to be fixed by legislation. We need to be fixed culturally at the root of who we are. No, not what Vivek was saying, not the sort of culture he's talking about. We need corrected in terms of spiritual culture. We are desperately trying to rewrite the world in our image, and it's not working. It is not working. And I don't know why people think that somehow it is. I know many career women, and I do not know a whole lot of happy ones. Oh, sure, they'll say they're happy. But how do I know that they're not happy? Well, because they'll post about it, because they love to post about it. They're not happy in many cases. And the older they get, the more terrified they start to become of what the future will hold for them. And rightfully so, honestly. It's actually quite unnerving to go into old age alone. I've met several people that are in that category. And you know what? They come from all walks of life. And every one of them is dealing with their own inner demons. So if we as a culture were to say, you know what? We are overworked. What? Overworked? Yes, we are overworked as a culture. We're overworked. And yet we're also underworked. How can that be? We're working on the wrong things. You know, I have spent days, weeks even of my life organizing stuff. I am surrounded by papers, writings, drawings, forgotten projects. It's everywhere around me. You know how much time I spend managing it versus working on it? And then you start to calculate out the amount of time you spend managing it versus working on it. And then it sinks in. Oh my goodness. I've spent all my time managing something rather than working on it. A lot of businesses function like that. Now, this is not to besmirch companies that are in the management business, there's a time and a place for that. But there's so many that are into management and they're not into actual labor. Whereas the number of people that are in actual labor jobs are relatively few and far between right now. I say relatively few and far between because some people actually are still working hard jobs, and those people tend to be in some form of resource of minerals or resources. Those people are working. Those people are the ones that actually have been laboring. They've been toiling. Managing isn't the same thing. Creating stuff like this isn't even working. If we're to be completely honest, this is a pastime. And you know, it's hard to look at my own work and say that, but it is true. This is not hard labor. So what is it then? Why do I put time and effort into this? If it's trivial, if it's not labor, why do it? I got an answer for that, but I'm going to hold off on that for just a moment. I'm going to ask you this question. Someone comes up and creates fancy drapes for your house. Are they laboring? Are they working? Or are they managing? Are they creating something that seems like it's valuable, but it's actually something that is relatively trivial? Which one is it? Somebody is designing a sticker for a car. Are they working? Are they laboring? Or are they managing? Are they doing something that is trivial? You have someone that finds an antler and manipulates it and turns it into a tool to scratch your back, but it has a little bit of a design to it. Oh yeah, it's got this nice little leather attachment. Is this laboring to make this? Or is it managing? It kind of depends on all those things, on how you implement them. This is a tool that you end up using to solve something, even if it's something as simple as a back scratcher. A sticker doesn't naturally have any value, and when it's put on a car, it still has no value. It has sentimental value, but it doesn't change the performance of the car, unless it's a form of identification that has an actual purpose. Drapes are not really something that requires any sort of... It isn't really required for a house. It's trivial. And the design is pointless. Yet people fight over stuff like that all the time. It's trivial. Unless you're trying to prevent the house from overheating. Then you need some drapes. So what, are we supposed to go with the kind of like the communist bloc sort of mentality of where everything is cold and void of life? No. But we're so focused on the trivial, on the things that are good but don't actually give us something new, that we're spending all our time gathering something that isn't necessary for survival. And as such, the thing that is the most dangerous thing for us to lose food, minerals, lumber, those ones are in jeopardy. Just wait. You think inflation's tough right now? Wait until these companies become managed by machines. And, you don't need to worry about oil extraction. A machine's taking care of that. You don't want to have that dangerous job. You lose that power of something that matters. Suddenly, the company can crank up that value for the product. And because it's a necessity, you will pay it without any ability to bargain. Because they don't care about your fancy curtains. They don't care about your stickers. They don't care about anything you can offer, because they have their own team creating that stuff. Or an AI. Vivek and Elon are right. We are lazy. And when we do work, we're not doing anything of substance. So here's my challenge to one and all. What are you doing that allows you to come away and say, yes, I have done something that is going to make future generations better off? Now we come back around to my position. What am I doing? Am I doing something with these animations that's useful and productive, going to help the future generations? Is this going to transform the world? Is this going to generate revenue? Can you build a house with this? No. Can you turn it into fuel? No. Does it help to even manage something? Not really. So is it just trivial? No. No, it's not. Because there's another category. A category that made me want to get into this field to begin with. Now, we've not really gone over this just yet. And believe me, when you see the final products, it's gonna make sense. Until then, it may not make sense. Do you think Star Wars had some sort of merit? Do you think Lord of the Rings has some sort of merit? Or is it all just entertainment? The final part is not whether or not you're harvesting a resource. It's not just the fact that you are being entertained or it's trivial. It's whether or not you're learning from it. That is the most unrefined aspect of our culture right now, yet it's the most common. All media is a teaching tool, an information tool. It's not managing, it's growing. So is this animation going to change the world? Absolutely not. But there could be some animations, some stories later on that do. To get to that point, you have to prove yourself with the smaller things. and say this is now a product that is a prototype, so to speak, of the things to come. And by refining this, by getting to the point of where it's better, people will take notice of it, hopefully, and they will have more interest in the other things that are made. So to Elon and Vivek, for their accusations against the American people, you're right. You're also deeply wrong, especially Elon Musk. Deeply wrong. Because I think our focus is wrong. I think our culture is misguided. And if you want the American people to change, you can't replace them. Because the rest of the world doesn't have it figured out either. You need a chance to give people a chance to recover. Are we just supposed to watch as the treasures of the past generation are spent upon retirement plans? Goes into healthcare that's being overcharged so you can actually send it overseas in reality? Is it meant to give you a comfortable retirement and then realize that you've spent it all on yourself and not your kids? Yeah, that's one that I think not a lot of people think about. Your kids are supposed to be the ones receiving the inheritance, not you. And I'm not saying that as somebody who wants an inheritance in the same way. I'm not saying that I demand an inheritance from my family. One of the reasons why is because I know that the government is going to take it regardless, and there's not much that's going to be done about it. So it doesn't matter what your parents have. But right now I see there are parents right now who are younger and they're squandering their wealth on themselves. Gotta give the kid experiences. Let's go to Disney 2 times a year. You don't need to do that. Kids have imagination. Go once, yes. I'm not going to discourage that. I think Disney is a great place, and I value what Disney was trying to do with it. But it's not meant to be a forever sort of place to be. You should not be wasting a lifetime of resources to try and go there. You do, and your family will pay the price for years to come. So I've just said a lot of things that are fairly accusatory in many ways to the American people, to people who are leaders, whether by appointment or election. But what's something we can do? We ourselves, what can we do to change this? Is there anything that we can do? Or are we all just victims of the of life itself? Do we have any sort of responsibility or role to play? I mean, we can earn all the money in the world, but if the money is sabotaged and you can't quite make the money stick, well then that was kind of pointless, right? So if you can't save your money, what are you supposed to do? Well, first off, you can vote and make sure the people that want to sabotage your savings are not put into office. But that's kind of hard to tell when they change their views so often. And they do change their views a lot. People in government love to tell you one thing and then promptly do the other. Nor do you want to hide it under a rock. That can be destructive. You got to keep working. Laziness. You got to beat out laziness. And it takes a while to beat it out. Believe me, I have had some bouts of laziness myself. None of us are immune from it. And our culture is so prone to making this mistake. I'm not going to pretend like we're somehow I'm not going to pretend that we're somehow incapable of overcoming these challenges. But there are some roles that other people have played that cannot be ignored either. We all have a responsibility. So do our companies. I blame our companies as much as the individual American. In fact, I dare blame them more. Why? Because I know people that are trying to get employed. And they're being offered peanuts because the companies know that they can gouge them. That's what angers me. That's one thing the government gets right, is that it understands the proper wages someone's supposed to have. Maybe it does give people a little too much. I don't doubt that. But I have seen what happens when you give a company full control. And it's actually as bad, if not worse, as what the government will do. I mean, if we complain about the government being wasteful and sending our money overseas, you have to remember a company is doing something similar, just in the reverse. Rather than sending it overseas, they're sending it to themselves, and they're gouging you through penalties or any other number of problems. You know, that's one of the reasons why I don't insist that people... Well, that's one of the reasons why I don't insist people subscribe. And while I appreciate the donations that I've received in the past, it's one of the reasons why I don't keep pushing for it. People will give out of the kindness of their heart, but I don't need to try and force it. In part because I don't want people to end up making tough financial decisions because they're donating stuff. There was a guy that I saw, he had a massive debt. And you know what? He felt guilty that he wasn't donating. And he gave a ridiculous amount to some streamers. And he needed that for his own finances. He was financially in a tough spot, but pressure, peer pressure, was too much for him. So what do you do if you're trying to build up your wealth? Now, I don't profess to be an expert on it, but I can tell you what, you don't go with crypto. You don't go with the lottery. I'm not even a fan of buying property, but some people do really well with property. I'm not going to pretend like it's not a good investment. You can save up, and it still feels like you're incapable of doing something. I've done a lot of saving, and I tell you what, it doesn't grow. Not the way you would expect. And so you end up keep looking at it. It's like, this is not really growing the way I was thinking that it would. You can't leave it idle, but nor should you be going out and saying, I'm going to get every last little thing kind of purchased. That's going to cause all sorts of issues. So how do you turn your finances around? Do you invest it? Do you just save it? Well, I can definitely say one thing. Never do just one thing. And what's more, don't treat it like it is kind of a gift card that needs to be spent. Just because you have it doesn't mean that you should spend it. Oh, we have extra money. You know what we should go out and do? We should go down to this fancy resort. Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. Go out to the fancy resort. Spend a fortune. And end up losing all that you had just saved. What about next year? Oh, we'll get more money next year, and then we'll do something else fun. What happens if you have a medical condition that suddenly hits you? Doctors are incredibly expensive. I got 8 cavities at one point. I had never had something so expensive to have to pay for. And you know what I found out just recently? That in the next couple of years, I'm probably going to need to have more dental work. Not just yet, but I'm probably going to need to get more. And the cost tag on that is even higher. If I was to pay for it now, I would go broke. Medical world. That's another thing that Vivek and Elon are forgetting about. It's that the cost of everything is so outlandish. It prompts a lot of people to, it causes a lot of people to lose heart. But you know what helps you avoid losing heart? Family. I know I say that a bit, but it's very true. If you have family around, you start to want to change for their sake. And if you're changing for their sake, you're living for them. You will go through a lot of difficult decisions in this life, but I can definitely say, quite confidently, that The people that are focused on someone else, regardless, are those that have the most enthusiasm for the future. I'm incredibly pessimistic about the future, but I'm very much a realist for other things. It does impact you. Our culture. Our culture can change all of our mindsets in a moment. You just need a moment to kind of have a breather. I continue to learn a lot about this whole process of animating. I've learned a new one, and that is pacing. Right now, my pacing is all over the place. By the way, much appreciated to folks if you would... Wait just a second. Just a second. Alright, here we go. That's better. By the way, it would be much appreciated if you would consider liking the stream. Now, I do think that a lot of streaming is trivial. My own streaming is trivial. I know there's not a whole lot of merit behind it. I hope that there will be one day. But I do realize that it's still a gamble. If you think that there's anything that is worthwhile, would you consider liking and commenting? That would be helpful. By the way, folks, tomorrow we're going to be doing community games, again, along with more art and animation. Now, here's a question for community games. Based upon the criteria that I gave earlier, is it something of merit? Is it worthwhile? Can gaming together with people have merit and have a worthwhile investment of time and resources? What do you think? I'll give a moment before I answer that. It might be a little surprising to you about the how many people have talked about this, but I don't really hear a lot of people coming up with some of the reasoning that I've seen, or that I've kind of been thinking about. Kind of strange how that happens, actually. Not saying I somehow have a secret in on how these things, on information like this, but more just like I remember people talking about this stuff more when I was younger. In fact, our culture talked about it more as as a whole. So a community game is mostly trivial, pointless, wasting of time, wasting of resources, a drain of money, a folding of the hands, a destruction of your finances. If that's so, why do we do it? Why do we do it so often? Because of one thing. It is community driven. It's why I don't stream games by myself typically. Well, unless it's earlier today, but that was just because of how things turned out. But there's no point in gaming by yourself in that sense. Greetings, Cassidy. And welcome. Much appreciated. 3D, are you into animation? And if so, what is your software of choice? I do animate a bit. I mainly use Blender. Blender is a good one, especially when you're on a budget. In that sense, I would say good choice. I'm a fan of Blender, have been for several years. I didn't start in Blender, I actually started in Lightwave. Then I went to Maya because I was told that that was what the industry used. Then I found out when I got out of college that it is a license that I can't afford. And unfortunately, I had to swap out for Blender, and I wasted all my time learning the wrong software. And my roommate, who had told me to switch to Blender when I was in college, the one that I mocked and said, nobody uses Blender. Now I'm using Blender, and now I have to like owe him maybe like a beer or something later on. Who knows? Been listening for a bit. I like the topics you've discussed thus far. Much appreciated. During days like this, I tend to ramble a bit, and I go into the bunch of deep topics, and sometimes I have a plan, other times I have no plan of where they're going to go. As you can tell from some of my discussions thus far, I'm a deep thinker, and doesn't always mean that I have things right, but if nothing else, I like to try and pass on some of that deep thinking to other people, and then they can make their own decisions. But yeah, I definitely do appreciate the follow. It does mean a lot. Can't type or see anything in the Discord. Oh, yes. So let me do this for you. So we had that as a fail safe, so you should be able to do it now. I'm not very good at figuring out Discord, so I think I messed up something with the settings. So you now should have the ability to use our greater community area. We did this initially because we got a lot of spam that came in, and we had to be a little more careful during a little over a year and a half ago, actually. So the threat's kind of gone, but the policy just kind of stayed in there. So I am slowly getting the hang of Discord. We have a lot of neat features we've been trying to add in, but like some of them, they work out perfectly, or things like this. Like you should have access to be able to at least say how do you do immediately. But for some reason that one didn't take. Peculiar. We do have one difference in the people that are part of the community. Some people are just wolves and others are alphas. Alphas are the people that have been around the longest. They have access to the majority of the Discord. We do have a graduate process that I'm trying to figure out. I'm not very sure what that's going to look like just yet. I kind of put that whole thing on hold as I was trying to get these animations squared away, but I do need to figure out what that process is again. Tends to happen with open Twitch communities, yeah. I mean, when you have people coming in and trying to promote all these different crypto scams, it's like, no, please, why does this happen? Why do we suddenly get inundated with stuff like that? And some of them, there were some malicious ones too. Didn't happen a whole lot, but there were some ones that had like seemed to have some really dark intentions. But I didn't want to keep it closed because we kept it closed for like an entire year, and wasn't really the solution either. So yeah, keep learning along the way. Sometimes it's people whose accounts get hacked, and sometimes it's straight bots. Yeah, that's true. Well, much appreciated. I got a couple of tweaks like this I need to correct. I've done this run cycle multiple times. I'm not good with run cycles, but slowly getting there. This is the video edit so far. This is all just blocked out. Yeah, I don't know how it's going to play, but we have our little fella. He is hiking up to the edge of a little vista, and he looks out over it, and he's looking around. He sees an eagle. Oh, 2 eagles! What a fascinating vision right there. He takes in the mountain air and is happy. But there's something else out there, and it's not so happy. It's not so friendly. This goes tromping through the woods. And what is up with that shot? Okay, we got a problem with that shot. He's looking behind a tree, and he doesn't realize he's being watched. He takes a swig of a drink that he brought with him. Refreshing. Oh, well, look at this. We got garbage. Throw it into the forest, obviously. Wait a minute. How dare you throw that into the forest? Look over and... oh, that's messed up. No littering. Roar! Okay. He looks over, freaks out as... oh my goodness. This lag is not going so well. Okay, well, basically, it sums up, he gets run down, he gets chased, he gets beat up, and then we cut to credits, so. I know, really, really sophisticated. If you want to see the other animations and you've not seen them, you can find them on Castercraft YouTube or Rumble. Castercraft Media is where we post this stuff. So right now, this is the Alaska Man Jeff channel, but the animation stuff gets posted on Castercraft. We have a couple of animations over there. I've gotten through 3 animations for the first year. This will make the 4th. Next year, I hope to double that. Mostly because I doubled it from the year beforehand. Yeah, the first 2 animations took a long time to do. But I'm getting slowly better at this, and that's why I'm using Legos. It gives me the chance to learn along the way, to get better at it, and not be surprised by some of the quirks to the whole process of going from concept to final animation. I don't think I can make something that's good at this moment. You know, I was not able to make any animations up until really last year. I was in a very tough bind when it came to making stuff. Let me pull up this right here. So the past projects I've done primarily have been art related. Not because I wanted it to be art related, but because I didn't have many other options besides that. Because I was struggling so much with animation. Notice the first animation in a long time is from 8 months ago. Now, I've done animations before that, but this was the first time that I tried to sit down and actually do a multi-shot animation. Up until then, the only animations I had done were basically one-shots. And while some of them turned out pretty well, like this one right here, let me turn on the sound here. That thing took about 4 months to do. So, when you have that sort of a track record, you're like, dang, I got to go back and get better. So I went back to Legos, because Legos don't have the back of your jacket start imploding upon you. That's what happened with that guy. I couldn't turn the character around because the back of his jacket was all destroyed. So, yeah, then I was able to get some more ones out there, but this is going to be our next big-ish sort of animation, one that is over a minute. Minute 20 seconds at this point. So, yeah, big stuff. Fancy. Moving up in the world. Or something like that. But yeah, there's a lot of experimenting that takes place with this. And sometimes you come to something like this, where you spend multiple hours and days doing the same darn animation. And this one in particular has been an absolute beast. Not to mention the beast that's right here, but absolute beast to try and manage. Why? Because I messed up the walk cycle, and I have been paying the price ever since. I should have gone back and started over from scratch, and it would have been better. This now makes maybe the 5th day of streaming this particular moment, and I'm kind of done with it. I'm like almost there. There's a couple of refinement moments though, because you don't want it to be, bad. And I got to go back and figure out what's wrong with the other ones, because everything's been animated to this point except this one. So I got to go back and double check that. I think some of them are a little unrefined, and I'm going to go back and correct those. But anyway, that's something I'm going to be doing tomorrow night. But do you have have you been working on any sort of stuff that you have posted yet? Or is it all just pretty much for your own viewing at this point? I know that a lot of my stuff is in that category. I don't like that little rise there. I can't really tweak that. And we'll see what the final looks like before it gets changed. I might put might put a rock there. I haven't really done much main posts. I'm still getting my grasp on larger projects. Well, I hope it goes well for you. If you ever have questions, I try and be as open of a book as possible about things I've done. And I do pass on what I learn, because there's a lot of the stuff is behind a paywall. I'm not a fan of that. I paid about $80 for a tip on how to block out animations. And I was dumbfounded how simple it was. And I was like, this was $80? But you know what? I've made my money's worth on it. It actually worked. But you know what? It doesn't really exist out there. No one's like talking about it. I've thought about making a video about it, but I don't even understand how to do it effectively. Until I can do it easily, I can't pass on the information that I learned. I just have to stumble through it. Kind of like animating this walk cycle. Which I think the footwork is finally there. Yeah, the footwork's there. Maybe a little bit of refinement after I do the first renders of it, but now I can go back and tweak all the arms. Huzzah. Now, I used to work at Disney. No, I wasn't in like the animation. I wish I was. I worked at the parks. I was part of their Disney College program. I took it back in 2012, 2013. And I met some animators back then. And I asked them, how do you get into the animation business? And every one of them had been fired. Well, not directly fired, they were let go. The reason why is because the company was in the process of outsourcing all of their animation. And so what I found interesting about it is that these guys all had worked for the company for decades. One of them had worked on some of their biggest animated features and ended up making one of their last ones, Brother Bear. After that, he was let go. He was replaced with an overseas studio. He was drawing beautiful works of art. And now, when I saw him, he was celebrating his 35th anniversary of working for the company. I saw him when I was walking around the parks, because I knew sometimes animators went out there. He was at a drawing table. He was going through papers that he'd been doing, and I thought, okay, I want to go up and talk to this guy. As I do so, I'm in the process of going up to him, and suddenly I hear a bunch of clapping and cheering, and people came in. Yay, hooray, you've actually done it. Congratulations, you've been here 35 years. Here is your 35-year Disney commemorative pin. He smiled, he accepted it. And the moment they all went back to work, he took it. A scowl appeared on his face. He threw it across the room, hit against his desk, and disappeared among the papers. And they went over and started roughly moving all the stuff around. And I was like, oh, now I really want to go and talk to this guy. So I went up to him and I didn't tell him what I had just seen. It's amazing the things that you can see if you're just a silent observer. But I go up to him and ask, has he been drawing for a long time? And he says, yep. Been drawing here about 5+ years now. Oh, really? What were you doing before that? Working on full-length animated features. Why are you here then? Because we were too expensive. And they outsourced all of our work. And so, why are you doing these simple drawings here? Because basically he was a human copy machine. They were allowed to draw something like 10, 20 different types of images, no different ones, no variations. You had to do it stroke for stroke, because that's what the customer was paying for. So he was doing the same images over and over again, approved by someone else, someone overseas who took his job. And he was not able to do anything else. So why were you there? No one else hires people like me. And then he went on to tell me about how there were other people around the parks that were in the exact same position. I felt so sorry for that guy. Because he had talent. And he was discarded, undervalued. And so I asked him, is there a way to get into the animation department at this point? He said there is no animation department. It's gone. Or most of it. Most of it's overseas. The rest of it is here. But you won't actually see people doing artwork there anymore. They'll do concept art. They'll outsource it. And then I found out what it would mean to actually work in the industry. You'd be living out of a suitcase. You'd be going from hotel to hotel. You'd be unsure of what would be tomorrow. Everything was going to be a mystery from that point on. You could work your hardest, and the company didn't have any intention of wanting to make sure that you were cared for. And so I went back to my college after the program, and my professor asked me about the experience. I told him about that story. And he said, so are you going to be staying in animation and video production? I said, yes. Why? I mean, we've been telling you all for a while that the industry is dead and that you can't make a living by doing it. I said, I know. Why then? You know, I'm still trying to figure out that why. But the motivation has never changed. Because I view animation and storytelling with a high level of respect. Because my life was highly impacted by animation. In fact, some of my biggest, you could say, biggest challenges in life were sparked because of animations. Animations that asked tough questions, that left me with a sense of either hopelessness or enthusiasm, and encouraged hope. I have noticed since then, there are many people in this world that look to media for guidance. Sure, it may not be like a mentor or a counselor or something like that, but what it can do is it can reach into people's lives that have cut themselves, of people who have cut themselves off. A friend of mine had done just that, and he chose the wrong stuff to look at. He became depressed, and I mean like one of the most depressed men I have ever known, and he actually came very close to a very nasty end. It took him 10 years to turn around. And you know, it all could have been fixed if he didn't have animation. An animated film kept him captive and a slave to fear. And I remember him before he even started watching it. And I remember him when he started watching it. And it wasn't until 10 years later that he reached out to me and told me the story of what had happened. Oh my goodness. An animated film can be beautiful. It can inspire and give a sense of encouragement. I can't tell you how many people I've heard who look at the movie The Lion King, the original animated film, and say that was one of the most important films in their childhood because it helped them get over grief. I've known people that have watched the Pixar films, and they get a sense of really what it means to make a stand when there is overwhelming odds. I've gotten people who have watched things like Ratatouille and gotten inspiration for what it means to be an artist or to have culture. I've seen people who have looked at the film of Beauty and the Beast and said that helped them get past incredible doubt and fear and prejudice. Everything has the ability to teach. And animated films have that in plenty. And I hope one day, God willing, I will be able to contribute to that. One of my worst moments was because of an animated film. A film that left me with a sense of dread. I never thought that that was possible. But, so it was. It left me with a sense of dread, and it took me down a dark path in that sense. Not as bad as my friend, but pretty bad. And it was an animated film that helped to encourage me and helped me to come out. Animated films are nothing more than kind of the idealized, an idealized worldview that gives you a chance to see the world, you could say, in black and white. You get to see something that is clear, that in the real world is maybe a little cloudy and tough to understand. I got no idea where my artistic skills will be used. I do know that it has been used in the past for some good. It's also been used for a lot of trivialness. And that's something I'm very frustrated with. I wish that more of what I did actually had a deep, meaningful impact. But it's not there yet. Mostly because my skills are not there yet. But when I do get to that point, I have a series of stories I want to tell. And I think people will enjoy it. But that will be up for audiences to decide. Until then, I will try and be as productive as possible, learning my craft along the way so that I can be prepared for when that moment does come. Hopefully this next year, some of those stories will start to come out. And they're going to be the short ones, not the epics, although I would love to make the epics. We'll see. Some people get all that they want. Some people don't get a fraction of what they want. I know a guy who spent a fortune trying to make an animated feature. It finally came out, and no one liked it. He spent years bragging about how he was going to be the next George Lucas. He was going to be the next Steven Spielberg. And yet, it didn't happen. Pride is a factor we all have to struggle with in this field. Actors struggle with it a lot more. Actors also have to deal with a lot of other challenges that people don't really think about a whole lot. But one of the things that artists will deal with is a sense of pride and arrogance that, oh my goodness, can really throw people for a loop when they see it firsthand. I have definitely had my bouts with it. And you know what? I am grateful that... I'll say I am so grateful I have not found success to this point. Not because I don't want success. Everybody wants success. I'm just grateful that when success does come, that I haven't had it yet. When I shouldn't have. If I had my way, I would have had my first full-length feature done at this point. If I had my way, I would have finished 2 comics, and I would have been hosting a series of discussions on art and animation and storytelling. But I have received none of those. Looking back on the stuff I had prepared that I've been planning, which I do have a large collection. Looking back on it, I'm actually a bit embarrassed at how simple they were. How pitiful they were. So if I got everything I wanted, I might have been branded with unskilled, pitiful, terrible attempt. Shouldn't be doing things like this to begin with. I wouldn't blame people if they did say that. And thankfully, I've been spared that ridicule. The ridicule that the other guy that I mentioned about has been struggling with. Because when he put his product out there, he thought he was going to get a fanfare of excited people all saying about how wonderful he was for his masterpiece. And nobody said that. Even his biggest supporters. And I was watching from the sidelines because he reached out to me, trying to get me to participate. And I was willing to. I volunteered. I said, yeah, sure, I'll help you out with some of your visual effects. And I never got the chance to. And I couldn't figure out why. I still don't even know why. He kind of cut off communications with everybody. And so all I remember was the last time I spoke with him, I said, hey, I'd be willing to help you out, because he asked about it. Just tell me what you need and I'll try and make it happen. A year passed and nothing happened. And then another half year passed and I saw that he had already finished his product. And that's when the ridicule started. And I thought, wow, I came this close to either helping to maybe save it or being branded with the with the failure of it. Now, I don't wish him any ill will, honestly. I hope that he rebounds. But I also realize that you have to have humility in this field. If you don't, well, I've seen what that does to people in this field as well. I've seen how the shame can start to come about and how people can be full of rage and anger. I don't want to make that mistake. And so I'd rather have no success than have the wrong success. So hopefully, I pray that when this stuff finally does come out, that it has a meaningful impact and that shame won't be the reward. And honestly, I think a lot of people are very humble in their criticisms as well. So the guy that got ridiculed for his work, maybe it wouldn't have happened as much. Maybe the people wouldn't have ridiculed it as much if he hadn't spent all this time beforehand bragging about himself, saying about how wonderful his product was. By doing that, he set himself up for ridicule. Now, I can't necessarily say that I would not have made the same mistake. Now, I think that I wouldn't, but I'm saying that because I got a chance to see it in action. I saw someone else struggling with it. So is it any wonder that now I think that I wouldn't be affected by it? But would I have been affected by it if I had not seen him struggling with that? Good question, honestly. It's pretty easy to see that there's a trap out in the leaves the moment your friend has stepped in the trap. It's a lot harder when you know there's a trap out there and you're the one leading. I mean, well, that's fair. That's why I treat all my videos as mediocre work and am always open for constructive criticism. You know, that's an important part. Constructive. There's a lot of people out there that want to give criticism. Not a lot of people out there that are willing to give the consideration of constructive criticism, at least in the professional fields. Now, people that are family and friends will offer sometimes too little criticism, but they will offer constructive criticism, whereas a company, not so keen on that. Definitely always test things with those that you trust, and then start to expand out. So, whenever you got something you want to share, there's you'll see there is an area in the greater community where it says art. And so feel free to share that whenever you want. We are a very constructive community. People, I don't think I've ever, well, I don't want to jinx myself here, but I don't think I've ever seen anybody be discouraging over there. So yeah, feel free to post as you want on some of the stuff that you create. And if you want some of that constructive criticism, while we're kind of a small community, you will definitely see encouraging ideas over there. A lot of times people gatekeep knowledge and aren't as great at giving constructive criticism. Oh my goodness, you are correct. You are very, very correct. So I won't go into the full backstory as to why, because otherwise we will be here until tomorrow evening. But I saw that in full display 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, 3 years. How many years ago now? A while ago. I saw it on full display. Gatekeeping. Mockery. You can't do that. Oh my goodness, you're just the worst at what you're doing. And the whole time I was like, what is wrong with these people? And then I found out they were trying to tear each other down because it was like a mad climb to the top. I'm going to be famous. No, I'm going to be famous. I'm going to get all the glory. And kicking each other down. The verbal abuse that took place. They sometimes physical, sometimes, and it wasn't like people being beat up or things like that, but it'd be more like, yeah, it would be like pushing people into situations that would make them humiliated and shamed. It's like, that is deeply troubling. But it's that sort of idea that they were gatekeeping success. They didn't want someone else to find success. No, they should be the one to find success. And by gum, if you're going to find success first, well, that doesn't look very good for them. I mean, they're the ones that have all the money. Obviously, they need to find that success. Man, it is honestly quite something when you... I'm glad that looking backwards, we have 2020 vision. I wish we had that ability to see into the future, but we don't. But I'm glad that we have the ability to look back with clarity. But don't assume that everybody has that ability. There are some people in this world, especially those who are the most proud, who haven't the foggiest clue what life lessons to take away from the past. And I'm not saying that lightly. I was certain that everybody in the world had this ability. And then I realized they didn't. And that honestly kind of spooked me. It's like, how can they not? It's like, let's say, for example, you are watching Pinocchio and you see Jiminy Cricket, who comes up. Oh, gee, Pinocchio, you need to be doing a lot better over here. I mean, you've been messing up. And Pinocchio looks back and it's like, gee, thanks, Jiminy. I will be sure to correct myself moving forward. And then you look over and you realize he's the only one with a conscience, so to speak, that is speaking to him. Wait until you see somebody with no conscience. It's scary. Everybody has a conscience, but not everyone wants it around. Some people are the type of person who sees the Jiminy Cricket hop into their hand saying, I'll lead you down the straight and narrow. And they crush it. I don't want you around. You'll only get my way. Native Americans had a story about this. They said that the conscience was a triangle, or something similar to a triangle, something that had points on it. And it was inside of your heart. And when the conscience was well taken care of, it was sharp and prickly. And whenever you would get out of line, ooh, you would feel a twinge as the spokes of the triangle would prick you. But the more anger that you had would spin it up, and the heart would crush it. And soon, after a while of doing this, the triangle would get worn down and suddenly become a sphere. And no matter how fast it spun to try and warn you that you were doing something wrong, you couldn't feel it. Now, if you're someone of a Judeo-Christian background, we say that that is the Holy Spirit that is prompting you. And when you don't feel it, it's when you push it aside. Regardless of how you see it, there are some people in this world that have a conscience that they listen to. And there's some that legitimately choose not to follow it. I would rather choose to miss out on opportunities and not have to compromise my conscience than to find all the success and have no conscience. Because I may think that I'm a hero for doing what nobody else was able to do, only to find out that nobody wants to be around me. Imagine how terrifying that would be. You know, that's one of the great parts about the story Nightmare Before Christmas. Oh wait, no, sorry, not that one. Why did I say that? It's because it's a literal Nightmare Before Christmas. No, it's a Christmas Carol. A Christmas Carol tells the story beautifully. Because Scrooge is selfish. He has ground his conscience down. It has no prick to him. And it takes seeing his friends, his colleagues, and in their torment as ghosts. It takes seeing three spirits that show him the past, the present, and the future. And those things rekindle his spirit. They return the prick to his heart. And suddenly he is a changed man. But he had spent an entire lifetime deadening it. And you can heal it. I do believe you can heal it. But I think a lot of people, for want of money or power or fame, they don't want it. But if they could feel it, if they could somehow taste it again, I'm sure that they would want it again. I find it sad that a lot of people will crush that theoretical Jiminy Cricket. Well, maybe they have a fear of bugs. Okay, I'm here. Never fear. Darkness. Oh no. Greetings, Pantheon. How are you doing? How's your project been going? I saw you got the hangar all squared away and good to go. And do you have any renders that you've done recently? I got some recent renders that I finished. I got to go back and re-render it. I had a bit of a problem with the way it got exported. The blur didn't appear. But this was the render that I had done last night. It was actually kind of fun to try and figure out how to get the kind of the glittering effect. But I gotta go back and redo that one. Also, my sampling was way too low for that. It's slow going. I try to do small scenes, and then it just gets bigger and bigger. I know how that goes. This one right here was supposed to be a shot, a single shot, and now it's a full-blown almost minute and a half short. So I think that's part of being creative. You have to be willing to adjust and say, okay, you know what, it's time to make this thing a little bit bigger. But man, it definitely is a drain on the production time. All right, I'm going to call that good right there. So now I gotta... Where's my notepad? Wait, right up here. Okay, so... this is shot 2, part A. 2.0. Ready for the workbench render. Okay. Shall I post a picture? Absolutely. Feel free, sir. That way I can be able to show your fine work over on this side. I mean, you share a lot of my work over in your area, and so it's always great to get to see some of what you have going. Ooh. Look at that. Really liking the texture on some of these areas here. And are all these the controls or the assets that are Oh, okay, I'm seeing IK, so I'm guessing that's all the controls, right? That is a good collection of them. You got to show me how you use them when I'm over there next. Because I would love to get to see how the demonstration of that a demonstration of how that stuff works. I love that the tail has kind of that fish look. Maybe it's because I have such I enjoy salmon so much. To see something that is in that sort of style just makes me hungry. I saw the general animation, how this goes up into there, and so that was already really nice. Look forward to seeing how that scene ends up looking. Still so much to do, though. Indeed, yeah. I want to make something a little different for the space scene. Have you blocked out the animation right now? For me, when I'm blocking out the animation, I'm using the video editor that's just built in with Blender. It's been working really well because that way you can load in scenes like this, get to preview it, and then you can render it out like this for like workbench renders and whatnot. It's a good way to keep your shots nice and organized. At least for me, it's been a new experience for me, so I didn't realize how important it would be for my production pipeline, but it has worked wonders. Two selected. There we go. How's this looking now? Oh, is there a tree in his path? Okay, I gotta add more forest back there. Good, he avoids all the trees. That got a little close there. You're very kind, sir. Well, I got a lot of improvements I'm going to need to still continue doing. Wait, what? Are we having Pantheon Inception right now? Oh my. Oh my goodness. We got Pantheons galore. You know, I like the fact that there's very few people in this world that are going to claim to be an Alaskan. But Pantheon, I think, I think is going to be a bit more of a challenge. I think we need to have some sort of competition to find out who gets to keep the name of Pantheon. And I love that there's the underscore difference between the two names. Do you realize the likelihood of that actually happening? Man, that... Ah. Indeed. By the way, greetings, Cassidy. How is your day going? Indeed. Hokey Smokes, there is only one Pantheon. Oh my goodness, this is going to be a bit of a challenge for them. Okay, let me double check something. Oh my goodness. All right, where is this thing here? So how long have you been working in Blender?
Around 2 years now.
2 years, that's actually a fair amount of time. Has it been like a regular thing, or has it just been kind of like a casual hobby sort of thing where you've been just doing it on and off?
It's mainly just been on and off up until like now, where I've been doing it daily, slowly getting better at stuff.
That you got to start somewhere, and so the fact that you got in 2 years ago is actually pretty helpful. because so much in the program has changed. You're getting in on the ground floor. Whereas for me, I learned it 7 years ago, and I've had to relearn the software multiple times because they had a massive update that caused me to kind of lose my skills for a while. Romy asked why I was on the stream. Oh my goodness. I'm going to have to... Okay, so Pantheon 3D without the underscore. Do you have a link to the artwork that you do?
A lot of it's on his YouTube. He does a ton of cool tutorials.
Oh. Oh, is this the link that you put there?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Oh, wow. Let's see here. So is this the channel? There's a lot of stuff here. Okey smokes. That's pretty neat looking.
He mainly does shorts, which is where he gets most of his views. But I think it's a pretty cool thing.
That's really neat. I like that.
They're gonna do an art challenge to see who gets the name.
Hey, I'm all for that. I'm all for that. Having a good, healthy art challenge never hurt anybody. Well, I take that back. Sometimes they can get people get a little too passionate with their art challenges. So keep it civil, regardless. Okay, you're in. Wait a second. Wait, what happened here? Okay, art challenge. Whose art is better? I'm in Discord. Wait, you're in Discord.
I think he's in the Discord. He might need perms to speak or something.
Oh, I see. Right here. Here we go. Bingo.
That's a crazy coincidence. I knew somebody named Pantheon 3D, and I was like, yo, dude, is this you? And then it turns out to be a whole different Pantheon.
All right. Pantheon underscore 3D. You are now in the area. Feel free to speak as you wish. Okay, let's see
This
here.
is certainly a moment in history, I must say.
Indeed, this is definitely a first for my experience. Pantheon, can you hear us?
Hello?
I can hear you. Greetings, sir.
So I was trying to set up a push the talk button there. Pantheon 3D.
Well,
I don't even know what to say to you, pal. I think it's brilliant. Like, I've been sat here absolutely wetting myself. Hello, Cassidy. How you doing?
Doing pretty good. I just sent the other Pantheon an invite to the server.
Yeah, I've already sent about 87 hate mails to him already, and I've got another 6,000 lined up. So, well, that's it. Did he? Sorry, Jeff, I'm sort of taking over your stream here.
You're fine. You're fine.
I've given Pantheon 3D a follow on Twitch. I don't know whether they're high enough caliber yet to do streaming live with their art. I'm sorry. I just find it so funny.
Crazy coincidence.
I mean, when I looked at the first thing Pantheon 3D said was wait. I thought, hang on a minute, I didn't type wait. I didn't type that. So how did that come up on the screen? I was like, and I was looking at it. I just wasn't clicking on what was actually happening. Like, you know.
Indeed. I want to know what your art competition is going to end up looking like.
Well, Pantheon 3D, do you want to share your artwork? Because I would want to see it now. Cassidy.
Right.
Is
Hello.
Cassidy still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
He's
So
still
who
here.
would you say was the better artist? Pantheon 3D or Pantheon _ 3D?
Okay. Oh, what is this?
This is a short little test animation I'm doing with some cool UV projection stuff.
Oh. Someone threw a bunch of strawberries on the floor, and they seem to be becoming sentient.
Why
A new
am I
monster has formed.
So where did this picture go in Discord? Art pack. Art pack?
Yeah, go to Art Pack. That is going to be it shouldn't be saying pack on there, but let me actually change that. So art save. I don't know where the pack came from. So it's right here. It's under Greater Community, and you can be able to post it right here.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, look at VC chat.
Yeah, right. Let's see here.
PC chat.
We got
What's
some
that?
Pantheon without an underscore art.
Me? My art?
No, this so this is Pantheon 3D, not underscore. I feel like you guys need a last name, so you could be going by those names instead, so that way we make sense of who's who.
Call it Pantheon 1, Pantheon 2.
Well, the problem is they both have a 3, so
age.
In no particular order, just randomly Pantheon 1 and Pantheon 2.
chocolate milk. That's actually a really well done render there. Most impressive.
No, I could see a few fails there straight away. I've picked out a few things. Looks terrible.
Hey, we got an example of how it was put together.
Yeah, I could do that easy. 5 minutes.
So what I'm hearing is that it not only needs to be an art challenge, it has to be a timed challenge.
A time challenge? If you don't notice,
Buddy's just like, wait, what?
I mean, you did say 5 minutes, so I'm trying to give you the opportunity to prove your 5 minute example here. But honestly, I like things that are just, refined to as much as people want it to be.
Can't seem to add pictures to the channel.
Oh, he can't do that? Okay.
No, not at all.
Let me. Oh, well, like I said earlier, before people started showing up, I am very bad at doing this sort of stuff, so I'm going to change this. I messed up on this right here. 1, 2, okay, there we go.
Pantheon,
Use that.
you should join the VC and mute so we can actually accurately start a timer or something.
Where is this the right thing here? I think I have all of the permissions set. All right, saving it. Try doing it now. There we
guess
go.
That
I guess
worked.
I'll set up some kind of timer or something real quick. Have it running on my stream.
Oh, look at that.
You seriously want me to do art for 5 minutes?
I guess just try to create something around the theme of New Year's or something like that. Here, let me
I could
pull up the
just
timer.
type Pantheon _ 3D and win. That's not fun. So does Pantheon have a voice or not?
I'm not sure, honestly. Like, I think so. I'm not really sure, I'll be honest.
But does Pantheon know what Pantheon means?
I'm sure Pantheon knows what Pantheon means.
I don't think they do.
Considering bro's got 50,000 subs on YouTube.
Oh my. Wow. That's a substantial amount. Well done.
I think mine still says Angry Ape Man.
Can you change the YouTube side if you've already gotten like the handle?
Yeah, I can still change it over. Did it before.
So what I'm
I just got bored
envisioning
of
now
it.
is that in the future, I hope that the name gets changed again, so it's like a Pantheon Ape Man, and then you have like this big epic looking Greek ape that is just lording over this pantheon.
Yeah, it should be. Well, it looks like I might have to do a name change again. Now there's a godforsaken bloody Pantheon 3D out there. I'll have to change it. Yeah. God damn.
Trying to find unique
Timer
names is
pulled
a
up.
big challenge.
Let me know if y'all got Blender prepared.
Just put in a recent project you've been working on. Big enough.
All right, just a second. I think I'm having a little bit of static that's starting to appear. Let me why is that
What
happening?
is this VC bit rate?
It is very bad.
Yeah.
I will say that. It is a very bad one. So try canceling out the share screen, and I think that might help to restore some of it. Let's coexist peacefully. But what are the chances? Yes, indeed. All right. Oh, there we got some more artwork. Oh, yep, we got that. Oh, I haven't seen the street yet. Very
Oh,
nice.
did you not see the
Alright.
street?
I've not seen the street.
Let me try streaming now again. Alright, there we go. My Wi-Fi is holding its composure. Sort of. Yeah, it should be holding up pretty well. Alright.
Mm.
Y'all got Blender open, right?
Of course, I got Blender open.
Well, yeah, I know you
Yeah,
do.
but the
I know
pantheons,
you
yes.
do.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I
I
need
see.
to know if the pantheons have Blender open.
Yes, indeed. Sorry for not unmuting. I'm using text to speech normally, and I'm trying to not have my voice anywhere on the internet. I can understand that. Especially with nowadays when you don't know if somebody's going to take an AI and,
Fair.
take
fair.
someone's.
There's many
take someone's
public
voice.
AI voice cloning tools too.
Yeah, it's actually a very strange age that we're entering into.
Is he speaking in the Twitch chat by chance?
I'm not allowed to stream in the channel, it says. I think I'm an understudy.
Understudy. That's
Yeah.
Yep. That might be because there's already one going. I don't know what the settings are for this, so my
I mean, It should
apologies.
just
Oh, it's-
allow it. It may be a role
So-
specific thing or something.
Well, let's take a look here because Pantheon should have already the role of. Oh, that's weird. Okay, now you should.
You may have to leave and rejoin for it to show that you can. By the way.
No,
Oh no, there we go. Pantheon without an underscore. Get prepped.
I'm prepped, all right. He's gone down.
Jeez.
So,
Whenever
no
you're
more
ready,
phone screen left.
just say something to BCG. Oh, hey. We got some streams starting up.
It's like a Black
What I
Mirror
like to
episode
see.
in real time. He says, "I'm ready
Alright,
now."
people.
Right.
Alright, people. Say we do. Well,
A vase.
we'll do 10 minutes for first.
5 minutes.
You're trying to make this harder on yourself.
Yeah, I reckon we should do something like a vase.
Here, we'll do 5 minutes. Winter themed, winter and New Year's Eve themed.
Hey,
How about a vase? That is indeed a good idea, because that's something relatively simple to begin with, and you can be able to add to it
Fair,
very quickly.
fair,
yeah.
fair. Yeah, we'll do that. 5 minute timer starts. Well, I guess now.
All right, we're going to be bouncing back and forth between these two artisans. I don't think I can see. Oh, watch multiple at the same time. Hey, there we go. How do I make this to where the layout's a little different? How do I prioritize having both of these up here? I have
I
no
just see
idea.
him rushing like hell there to do
here
a
we
thing,
go.
like, and I'm just thinking, what is that he's trying to produce there? It's despicable. Look, I'm even giving him time to try and win me. You want me to start now?
Oh, well, you can start whenever you feel like it.
Yeah, the timer
Oh,
started. I mean,
I don't know whether to make myself a fresh cup of coffee, give him a bit of extra time to try and beat me or what. Look at him, like he's rushing, not he's panicking. Don't panic. What's that?
hey, you never know. He might be really good under pressure situations.
Yeah, he might be. Yeah, he's doing a good job. That's a hell of a vase. Is he doing a vase?
Well, I believe so. He might be getting ready to. Oh, wait a minute. Huh. Not entirely sure. Might be a winter scene with a vase in the middle of it. Nope, we have another item there. Oh, we're starting to see a shape over with underscore here. Oh, we're adding in some extra text. Uh-oh. I misunderstood. Okay. Help me. All right, kind of like a pot. So you're wanting a pot of some kind that looks fancy.
Basically what Pantheon with an underscore was saying is a vase.
Yeah, a vase or a pot, that sort of thing. All right, we're going to give a bonus 30 seconds. Okay, no, actually a minute, because these rules were very quickly put together.
Added the extra minute.
Now we're going to get a cup with this vase. Very fancy. I like the UI that you have there, Pantheon underscore. Is that a custom one, or is that one that you downloaded?
Sorry, it's hard to talk because I've got it on my back button.
So kind of like a we got a pan in there now. So kind of like a Greek vase. Since we have Pantheon here, we're looking like a sort of pot, a fancy sort of pot. Sometimes they're glass. Yeah, like a cylinder with a that can contain water. What we need next time is a image to try and imitate. I think that would probably be the best
I'll
thing.
I'll go ahead and like pause it at the 2-minute mark, and I'll actually pull up.
All right, so let's see here.
Stuff sort of like this. Pantheon without underscore.
We're already getting onto a table now.
I don't know if you want me to push this shit, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm doing like a decanter with a little glass, like, you know, I don't know.
All right.
All right.
Now timer gets unpaused because I've let y'all look at the reference for a little bit.
Oh, you want a pot like that?
Oh, we're going to go with an actual Greek pot there.
Yeah.
Oh, the pressure's going to be on here. Pantheon no underscore now understands the assignment and is off to the races.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. I kind of feel like this was a little bit of a home court advantage. And so I feel like there needs to be like a runoff to go with the opposite direction.
What's his face? Pantheon underscores said that he would give what's his face a head start anyway.
Now we got some good tracing right now going for that for this Greek pottery. I'm going with a little bit of a redesign over here with underscore. The original timer now is 35 seconds.
All right.
We're gonna have to shift that around.
Generous. We're going to add 30 seconds.
Kind of reminds me of when they were making the Hobbit films. Jackson was constantly telling Warner Brothers, "Oh, well, we're having problems with our upload for the film, and so we can't get it to you on time." And they were editing it for like another 2 days straight. And because of it, they got a masterpiece, in my personal opinion. Oh, both of them have some nice form going. Tell you what, I'm learning techniques for both of these here. I'm noticing that non-underscore seems to be using a UI that is
All right, I'm
more familiar.
Seconds just because.
He's using a UI that's very similar to Maya. Oh, we're going to go with a curve here. That's effective. Oh, we got the spin technique. I could never get that thing figured out. Every time I've used it, it's sabotaged me. This could be a really interesting challenge.
Lads, time's up.
Oh, golly.
All right, let's review the options.
Look at this.
Alaska, you be the judge.
You know, I gotta say, despite the handicap that Vipraz has, because you know it's easier to deal with than underscores here, I like how that turned out with how little time you had there. Pantheon has the setting all figured out. It didn't quite get there, but it does have the general direction. I do see where he is going with it. And so, honestly, I think for going for just the pure vase, I think that Vipraz actually has it a little bit more refined. I'd be curious, though, to see what would happen if there was more time for both of them. Because I think that Pantheon's has more of a future for it.
Should we give a rerun for like 10 minutes? I feel like they could get a little bit more done in that time slot.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt.
I would just like to say something, though.
Uh-huh.
When you think this is the second one I'm making.
That is true.
A decanter with a glass plus a table, right? And also sat there having a laugh to start with before I even started. Okay. And then Vipraz decided to get a image to do the pot, which she obviously traced, where I didn't. I just did that off the top of my head, right? I would give myself a little bit more credit. And obviously I started doing this after Vipraz started as well.
I mean, to be fair, you also said that you were going to give him a head start.
There's a head start, and then there's like a hoofing head start. I managed to make 2 other items, delete them, and start again on another design.
So what I'm hearing is that there needs to be an object you're trying to imitate. First off, greetings to Conroy, who says, "Why is there only one person in chat?" Well, that's because you're on the YouTube side, and right now we're across 3 platforms. And right now we are having a very new sort of experience. We're having a 3D competition. And I gotta say, this actually is a really interesting concept. I wonder why I've not seen this sort of stuff happening other places. Maybe other people have been doing it, but I've personally not seen it. So here's an idea. What if we go with this? This is kind of in the same sort of vein. What if you chose, copy, one of these? You're doing a chess piece. You get to choose the one that you go with. Well, actually, I think you should decide upon one that both of you are willing to go with. But the example in the chat right here for the live stream, that is your reference. Do you think that would work?
What is
Are
it?
we doing a timer, or we just gonna let them free go?
It's right here on the live stream side, where if you see the live chat bubble.
VC chat.
Oh, voice chat.
Yeah, the voice chat area.
I don't see it.
Okay, I will paste it also in general. That way it makes it a little bit easier. Okay. You may have traced it a little. Yeah. No, it works out. So you're going to go with one of these. So choose the piece that you want to try and figure out. And then you have to do it in your own style. That's going to be where we see both of you shine.
Well, I'm not going to do the fucking horse's head. I can tell you that much for shit sure. Because I ain't got that much time to waste. I've got real work to do, so like.
So how about the bishop then? Because that adds a little bit of extra detail that honestly is a little bit trickier to deal with than some of the other pieces, but it's not as complex as the horse. Do we have an agreement?
Limit for this challenge
That one, the fourth one in, I forgot what it's called now.
The bishop, the one with the hole through it.
Yeah. Oh, is that a bishop, is it?
Yes.
That's the one that moves diagonally only, isn't it? Is it
Precisely.
diagonally that one moves? Right, okay.
Yep.
Done. Yep, the fourth one.
Yep, the fourth one in.
Pawn
What,
is
what do you
number
reckon
one.
time limits for this challenge are going to be?
Go with
2 minutes.
2 minutes. Go with 5 minutes, because the techniques for this one should be accomplishable within 5 minutes. But we will.
Import the image.
So
Eyeball it. Tracer you.
that's
cheating.
that's why this is going to have to be in your own style, and we're going to be checking back and forth here. So be sure to come up with some sort of variation on this.
Okay.
All right. You call when the
All right.
timer starts.
Yeah, so we're gonna give a countdown here. All right, starting in 5. Well, wait, just saying. Clear out your space, delete the object out in your scene, or move it off to the side. Let's make sure that everybody's nice and cleared out here. Okay, we have both scenes cleared out. All right, you're going to be beginning in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, ladies and gentlemen, they're off to the races. They're going to be trying to make a nice, wonderful bishop piece. Already we're getting a nice cylinder out there. Let us see where they're going to be going with that. Pantheon underscore is just getting started. He's trying to find the right position for his camera here. All right, I'm already liking where some of that is going for Vipraz. A little more detail. Oh, I see where he's going with that. That makes sense. Now we're going to have a different approach for Pantheon underscore. I like that technique as well. I don't use it as often, but have done it a couple of times, especially when I wanted to get some extra clear detail on my objects. Very nice. Oh, now that's going to be interesting. So we have two different approaches for where the structure began. Vipraz began at the bottom and just went straight on towards the top. Pantheon has started from the whole shape and is starting to sculpt it. I can definitely see that approach working out pretty well. And honestly, that would translate pretty well to the horse as well, if need be. Oh, we're using the grid fill for the top. But it's at a 45-degree angle. Interesting. This is interesting. So Pantheon has a 4-sided piece, and over with Vipraz we have, I think that is a 32 side sort of bishop there. This is very intriguing. It's amazing the techniques you learn by watching stuff in this manner. We are at the halfway marker. Nope, starting to get the hat on there. Oh, interesting. So Pantheon went with designing the hat first, and Vipraz is designing the cut first. Most intriguing. We got the little topper for the bishop there. Oh, okay, so now here's where the stylization is going to be coming in. I wonder where the original bishop hat came from. This is a very peculiar sort of design. Help, it looks... it looks so cursed. Oh no. It looks like this bishop is in need of a bishop to help from this curse. Oh no. Over here with Pantheon underscore, we're starting to get... Oh, it looks like we're going to be going with a Boolean. Oh, very fancy. It almost looks like a crab claw at this point. Well, I guess that's within the style. So both of you have a very similar sort of look right now. Vipraz looks like a crab claw, and yours has a very smooth cutout. Oh, this is going to be a tough one. Oh no, oh no. We're going to a remesh. I don't know if this is going to help. Help! Oh no. Oh no. This could make or break it, folks. We're at 35 seconds. Pantheon is going to be showing off with some extra details to the cut there. Almost like it's been lathed. Wonderful. We're going into sculpt mode. Oh no. Are we going to be putting a face on this thing? Oh, we've backed up. Recalculating normals. 13 seconds. Oh, smooth. 4 seconds. 2, 1.
Timer's up.
Oh my goodness. Well, that is indeed quite the contrast there. A very traditional piece from over with Pantheon, and a stylized piece from Vipraz.
Oh,
Now,
Lord, Vipraz.
I'm not entirely sure what. I'm not entirely sure what the top was, what the plan was with the top. I felt like the timer sabotaged Vipraz there. I could see where he was going, but I would be very curious to see what the final idea was meant to be. I think for refinement of the piece, we'd have to go with Pantheon underscore for this one. So that means we're at a 1-1. Vipraz got the vase, and Pantheon got the chess piece. I do like how both of them have a style. I think the chess piece though with Vipraz is a little hard to identify. It looks almost like the top was blown off of a pawn.
Fortunately, I think I won that one hands down without any problems there.
Indeed. Honestly, I kind of like this idea of doing challenges in this way. This is actually
I think
fascinating idea.
I feel like it should be like a per se like a stream thing where we do like a monthly or something where we just have a bunch of people compete.
That would be fun.
That'd be fun. Oh my goodness, that would be fun. Yeah. There is so much potential with that, and I know that I've tried to get in on competitions and they're always filled up. And so the fact that it would be a smaller one where it's like a circle where you don't have to worry about being swamped by millions of people.
Yeah.
I like
And
that
we aren't
idea.
the type to really like hate if you get something wrong.
'Tis true. It's a civil place.
Vipraz, you're better off just right click delete. Because I don't think there's a way of saving that pile of rubbish, mate. You know what I mean? If you want to see topology, I mean, at least mine's got really good topology, whereas yours seems to have, I don't know what happened to that.
Oh, he's going to turn into a cloth simulation.
Don't do it, Vipraz. Don't do it. Don't do it, Vipraz. We can talk about this.
Oh, no. He doesn't want to behave. I think you have to apply the scale. You have to apply all the transforms. I blew it.
Yeah, apply transforms. Oh wait, yeah, that's right. He used the explode stuff.
Oh, that would make sense.
And he turned the velocity up real high.
Oh, that suddenly makes more sense. Oh golly!
So, but the thing is the nature of being an artist. If you don't mind me saying this, Jeff, is I seem to be able to do a humongous contrast of different forms of art, from sculpting characters to everything. I can literally just. There's nothing yet that I have been unable to do. And I've only been doing art for 4 years. May the 15th.
Everybody
Go to
has
shader
a
nodes,
strength
yeah,
there, and
plug in the image
your
into-
topology turned out really well with that, and you have some pretty good variety of stuff that you've done in the past. I would be very curious to see what happens if we were to do this thing again, when people get a chance to kind of prepare a little bit. He's
feel
gonna
like
actually
the-
bring in a
I feel
nuke
like the
for your
tiebreaker
stuff.
round- I feel like the tiebreaker round should be like a donut.
Oh no,
The
everybody
ultimate
does a
test.
donut. I mean, donuts are way too simple. What I think is something that's not kind of not cylindrical. So let me see here.
I'm not using my tablet either. I'm using mouse and keyboard for this crap.
So I
If
think
there's any form of
because
sculpting, then I
because
have to set up my
Pantheon
tablet.
got to introduce the first object. I got to introduce the second object. I think that only means that Vipraz gets to choose the third object. So Vipraz, it is up to you to decide what you want to do with that. And how did Vipraz end up with Vipraz in Discord, but Pantheon on socials?
You know why? Because I am the only Pantheon.
I
That's
wouldn't
why.
say that, buddy.
I'm Pantheon everywhere. You know, I'm not just a part-time Pantheon. I am the god of all gods. I'm the god of darkness. Yeah.
Like the way this all happened is Pantheon when Pantheon underscore. When I said look at your DMs, I DM'd this Pantheon, thinking it was you, because similar usernames.
Yeah. Well, you
Vipraz
message-
says, "Hold on." I think he's trying to find the perfect choice for a
He's
final
trying to
image.
find the perfect choice.
I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna try and figure something out for for a potential art competition next month. I'll have to look into what it would kind of take to try and do something like that, and post something about that and ask people if they're interested in it, because I really do think there is so much that one can do with this sort of stuff.
I used to run competitions and pay money for the winner. Anything from £50 to £100 is what I used to do.
So what I'm hearing is that there needs to be a 3D print trophy for the winner that is made of silver.
3D print trophy.
That could be what it is the final one, and it gets printed out, then is like silver coated and sent
Just
to
have
him.
it, just have it in silver like color for silver bars.
Oh my
currency.
goodness. He's going all out. Oh no. Oh. We're getting to some sort of really sci-fi looking stuff there. What's up about some kind of generator sort of idea inspired by hard surface modeling? Oh, he's choosing home court advantage on this one. I would get confused with this one.
Oh, I see what.
I have struggled with hard surface mod. And to think,
Okay.
actually, Pantheon has recently done something like this on his spaceship.
I've done an awful lot. of sci-fi stuff.
So it looks like we're going with a
Okay, good,
generator.
so it's an equal competition. I see.
Yes, this is close enough.
I say we give a little bit more time for this.
Give it a 10, since honestly, hard surface modeling,
Yeah.
this one can get really, really tough.
That's what I'm making at the moment.
Alrighty. So we have our scenes cleared. It looks like.
Ready to start up the
Okay.
timer once you're ready.
Oh, cheers, Phipps.
All right.
Now, is this using add-ons or is add-ons disallowed, please?
I would honestly say that add-ons in this sort of situation. Well, let me ask you. Let me ask both of you. Do you have add-ons you are going to be utilizing or would like to utilize? Because if you both have your preferred hard surface add-on, I do know hard surface modeling is really hard without it.
No, I can do it without. Panels and all, no problem.
Oh, Vipras has to go.
I think he has to go. Oh, the gauntlet was thrown down, and now it's going to have to be put on hold.
Use the emergency exit. He's gone.
Oh, we have a
I mean,
winner
I
all
call
the
that a
same.
tie, though.
I think this
I
is just
call
put
that
on
a
hold.
tie.
This is put on hold, so I think that the name debate is
Yeah.
going to have to be resolved at a later date. Thanks for both of you for being good, wonderful sports in this. And, oh, just stand by just a second. I have some nasty words I have to say to a certain Twitch bot. Get out of here, you Twitch bot. Nobody likes you. You are a corrupted code. Get out of here.
I see what you're talking about.
There we go.
Panama.
There we go. No more
no,
cheap viewers.
All joking aside, though, Pantheon, it's been fun, mate, and it would be nice if me, you, Jeff, Cassidy, and if we could get anybody else in on it. Once a month, I don't think it'll hurt any of us to put an hour aside and do a live stream, have a bit of fun with it, something like that. It's always good fun. But it's a pleasure meeting you as well. I followed you on Twitch. I don't know, obviously, if you're going to be streaming on Twitch or not, but send me any details. Totally down for advertising you for free as well, if you're trying to make money from it. And I'll put that on my Twitch stream so it'll be on there all the time.
Indeed. Well done to both of you. Honestly, this is a fun idea, and I look forward to be able to do this
says
again in
she's
the
gonna get
future.
a mic.
Oh,
Yeah.
that'd be nice.
Yeah.
No, but it is nice that when you see people like that. Morning, Lou. How you doing, my lovely?
Greetings, Lou. How are you doing? Who offers
Hey,
tea and
queen.
says, "Good morning." Good morning.
The Queen of Dandelions.
Well, we are going to
Miss
have to
Lee
bring
Ansberg.
we're going to have to bring this stream to an end, but I do want to try and figure out how to do this again later. So I'll put down some
I can
ideas,
show you.
and
I
I
can show you
look forward to
so it's
see.
really easy.
I look forward to seeing what sort of inspiration you guys bring to this. And yeah, let's make this a group project as much as you want it to be. But I'm going to have to start to bring this to a close. Thank you, one and all, for participating in this. It's fun. This is new, and I like it. I like this idea a lot. Do you guys have any sort of projects that you're working on you want to do a shout out for before we bring this to a close?
What, another streamer, you mean, or?
Stream video project that you're working on you just want people to know about, things like that.
Oh, no. I'm never doing anything special, me.
Oh, you're always doing something special. Whenever I go by, you're always doing something special, so. All right. So I guess we'll close it out at that point. Let me see. I'm going to be leaving the chat here at this point. I'm going to be setting up a raid for the Twitch side since we have enough people for that. And as well as, let me see if the Rumble side, nope, not the Rumble side. So thanks again, folks. I will chat with you all later. Feel free to use this area as much as you need. And feel free to use the other voice channels as needed moving forward. Have a good night, one and all.
Take care.
All right. So that was a very unique experience. Honestly, I like that concept so much. I can't tell you how much I have actually wanted to see something like that happen, but we haven't really had that ability to. It's kind of a very unique impromptu moment there. And honestly, I give a shout out to Cassidy for making that happen. Cassidy is the reason why that began. And then much appreciated to both Pantheon _ and Pantheon no _ for being our guinea pigs in making that happen. Much appreciated to everyone who stopped by during this stream. This is going to be something that we revisit in the future. Sometime next month, we're going to have a competition. It will be streamed so people can get a chance to see it. I'm going to figure out a different way to kind of showcase the stuff that's happening, because going back and forth on the Discord streams was not nearly as effective as I think another tool could be. And I have a way to probably set up Discord to make that function a little bit better. Okay, we're going to figure out a stream. Sorry, my English is not so good. Honestly, Lou, your English so far looks perfect to me. I never would have thought that it is not your first language, if that is the case. So, well, very much appreciate you coming by. And now let's see who is currently live. Now this is always a bit of a challenge for me, because it's like every time I start to select a place, something glitches on my end, or has been glitching for a while. Well, no one is currently doing 3D. Let's just type in art. I'm from Germany. Ah. Very nice. I actually lived in Germany for 7 years in Ramstein in Rhine-Main. I loved Germany a lot. And honestly, of the places that I could go back to, Germany is high on that list. When I first came back to America, that was my culture shock. Because I grew up basically being German. I almost became fluent in the language when I was a kid. Now I've forgotten most of it since then, but with a little bit of practice, I could probably get back into the swing of things. So, we are looking for art. Art. Okay. Let's try 3D. Making something. Oh, now this looks interesting. Oh, yes, this looks really good. Okay, we're going to go and raid this fella over here. Never seen him before. But man, that actually looks really interesting. So let us go on over to... am I typing this in right? Nope, that's not. There we go. All right, we have a location. Have a very pleasant evening and morning, everybody. Just a reminder, be civil to one another. And now let's go and spread some civility over to, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but we're going to head on over there because he's doing something interesting looking. So we'll see you all next time. Starting the raid. heading on over there in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And to the rest of you out there, thank you for coming by. Much appreciated for your time. We're going to be closing things out, and we'll be back tomorrow with community games as well as a little bit more art and animation. We are going to have a competition sometime in the future. Until next time, folks, have a very pleasant evening.